Back in December of last year, the world heard the news that Jay-Z was being named in a lawsuit as an accomplice to Diddy. The news was all over the media, and people believed that Jay-Z might be dealing with the same problems as Diddy, as Diddy had one lawsuit before many more victims came out with their allegations. Before Jay-Z was named in this lawsuit, many people online believed he was going to be next. So when it happened, people weren't even that shocked that Jay-Z was being accused, but more shocked that they were saying he did something to a 13-year-old. Now, just a few days back, Jay-Z managed to make this whole thing go away, avoiding the same fate as Diddy. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, we will be talking about why Jay-Z is free while Diddy is locked up. But before we begin, I just wanted to let my patrons know, I just dropped a new Patreon exclusive. This video is about a former Mason artist who exposed the plans for the New World Order. If you're one of my Patreon members, you can find the link to this video in the description. Thank you all. Now, let's get right into it. Back in December, Jay-Z was named an accomplice to one of Diddy's SA cases. He was accused of R-wording a 13-year-old at a VMA's after party that was held at one of Diddy's homes. According to the victim, she was invited to this party by Diddy's driver. She claimed that while she was at the party, she went into a room to take a nap because she wasn't feeling too good after having one of the drinks at the party. This is when she went into one of the empty rooms in the mansion to lay down, but was interrupted by a drunk Diddy, allegedly accompanied by Jay-Z and a third celebrity. The victim alleged that Diddy and Jay-Z took turns R-wording her before she managed to push Diddy off of her and run out. Over 20 years later, after seeing all the Diddy lawsuits, she decided she was going to file her own. She reached out to the lawyer Tony Busby, who agreed to take on her case. Tony Busby was already representing several of Diddy's alleged victims when he decided to take her on. At first, Tony only had named Diddy in the lawsuit when he filed it in October, but he tried to get Jay-Z to settle out of court before he named him in the lawsuit. Jay-Z didn't like this, so he decided to sue Tony Busby, claiming extortion and blackmail, stating that Tony was trying to force him to pay up so that he wouldn't name him in this lawsuit. This eventually led to Tony Busby adding Jay-Z to the lawsuit in December, which was picked up by every single media outlet. After Jay-Z's name was plastered all over the media, he had no choice but to respond to the allegations. He not only denied the allegations, claiming that they were completely fabricated, but he vowed to teach Tony Busby a lesson, something that he pretty much did. After many back and forths between Tony and Jay-Z's lawyers, things went quiet for a bit. Now, about 2 months after it was filed, the lawsuit against Jay-Z has been dropped. According to the media, the lawsuit was dropped by the accuser herself, with the lawsuit being dropped with prejudice, which means the case was permanently dismissed and can't be refiled. It appears that Jay-Z managed to get away with it like he always does. Jay-Z issued this statement after the case was dropped. "Today is a victory. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed. This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable if not for the seriousness of the claims. I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. This 1-800 lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe, and when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. The system has failed. The court must protect victims, of course, while with the same ethical responsibility, the court must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence. May the truth prevail for all the victims and those who falsely accused equally." Now, I can't say I'm surprised a lawsuit was dropped, as after the Jane Doe did this interview with the media without her lawyer present, I felt that something was off with all of this. This interview she did just didn't make any sense to me.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life.
38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs, Jay-Z, of she was 13 years old, is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward, talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through. It's been hard enough to be quiet, but it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations.
It seemed like she purposely shot herself in the foot by doing this interview. Now, I don't think Jay-Z was ever going to be taken down. Do you want to know why Diddy is locked up and Jay-Z is free? I will tell you exactly why. See, Diddy flew too close to the sun and tried to force his way to the elite's table. Diddy's problems all began after he sued Diageo. Diageo was the multi-billion-dollar company behind many alcohol brands. One of those brands was Ciroc. Many people thought that Diddy was part owner of Ciroc, but that was never the case. Diddy had been hired by Diageo to be an influencer for the brand. They wanted to make Diddy the face of Ciroc to appeal to the urban hip-hop market. So that's why Diddy and Diageo's partnership began. When they noticed how successful Diddy was at promoting Ciroc, they decided to offer him a special branding deal. Diddy was given permission to make different Ciroc flavors for Diageo. Even though he wouldn't own the flavors, he would be given a percentage of sales that these flavors made. This is why Diddy introduced many different Ciroc flavors over the years, and he was given a small percentage from each bottle that he sold. This turned out to be great for Diddy, and Diageo was very pleased with him. So much so that Diddy was paid at least $1 billion over the time he worked with Ciroc. Everything was going well until Diddy wanted to make his own brand with Diageo called De Leon. Unlike Ciroc, De Leon was going to be owned by Diddy and was going to be distributed by Diageo. When Diddy successfully managed to make De Leon with Diageo, he thought he was going to finally make it to the elite table. But he got a rude awakening when he realized that wasn't the plan at all. Diageo wasn't going to allow Diddy to sit with them at the elite table. They wanted to keep him as a puppet that danced when they told him to dance. So they pretended to support Diddy's De Leon brand, but in reality, they weren't. Diddy noticed that Diageo wasn't spending anywhere near the amount of marketing dollars they were spending on their other brands on his. So Diddy started to demand that they do. When they refused, Diddy decided that he was going to try to force them to by suing Diageo for racial discrimination and using the urban community to put pressure on them. This lawsuit was filed just months before the Diddy takedown commenced. After Cassie filed her lawsuit against Diddy and he settled, he knew what was actually happening. Diageo was retaliating for the lawsuit, so Diddy dropped the lawsuit in January 2024 with prejudice, meaning he couldn't refile it. He was forced to give De Leon to Diageo and was kicked from working with them and Ciroc. He was hoping that this would make the elite at Diageo forgive him and he would be spared. That wasn't at all what happened though. Diageo knew Diddy tried to bite the hand that fed him and try to force himself onto the elite's table. They knew he was never to be trusted again. This led to a blatant attack on Diddy. I'm not saying he isn't guilty because he definitely is. But if he had never gone against Diageo, he wouldn't be in that position and he would still be protected. Diddy is obviously a part of the club that runs the world. He's not an elite member, but he is in the lower degrees of the system. While he was serving the elite by promoting poison, which is Ciroc, to his own people, they loved him and protected him for it. Once he tried to bite the hand that fed him, he was shunned and given the boot. This is why Jay-Z's lawyer had no issue saying that Jay-Z and Diddy were never friends. Jay-Z was picking a side, the winning side. Now the reason Jay-Z is free is because he did the opposite of Diddy. Jay-Z was picked by the NFL to be the event coordinator for the NFL and the Super Bowl. This is one of the examples of Jay-Z being picked by the elite for a massive opportunity. Jay-Z has been playing ball the right way. He doesn't try to grow larger than he's allowed. He's happily serving the elite and manipulating the urban community. The NFL chose Jay-Z during the time that they were having racial tension for discrimination against the black community. They brought Jay-Z in to place him to win over the urban community, using him as a puppet to convince the urban people that the NFL isn't what they obviously are. Jay-Z has no issues at all being a puppet for the elite. He's happy enough to be in the same room as them. This willingness to play his role is what keeps him safe. We can see how this lawsuit ended for Jay-Z as opposed to how it ended for Diddy. Jay-Z's case was dismissed and the media literally invited the victim to do an interview just to discredit her, while Diddy was ridiculed by every mainstream media out there. Jay-Z was protected and Diddy was thrown to the wolves. In my opinion, both Jay-Z and Diddy are guilty and have done terrible things in the music industry. The only difference is that Jay-Z is happy to be a puppet, while Diddy wanted to be a puppet master. These elites would never allow someone like Diddy to sit at their table. They have no issues using him, but allowing him to become an equal to them, that's not happening. That's how Jay-Z managed to get away with it, while Diddy is rotting away in a cell. I say get away with it due to the many other allegations that have been made about Jay-Z and minors. For example, Jay's alleged relationship with Rihanna when she was underage, his alleged relationship with Foxy Brown when she was underage, his alleged relationship with Aaliyah when she was underage, his alleged relationship with Beyonce that started when she was underage. It's even alleged that he had a relationship with a teenager who got pregnant and had the baby. The child that this woman claims she had with Jay-Z is now grown and has been requesting Jay to do a paternity test to confirm he's the father, but obviously he won't respond. In my opinion, when there's smoke, there's fire, and there seems to be a lot of smoke coming from Jay-Z. Yet, nothing happens to him, unlike Diddy, who is drowning in these problems. It's ironic because no one heard about Diddy being with minors until the lawsuit came out. But with Jay, it was rumored for years that he was into them young. Jay-Z, Diddy, and many others in this industry are guilty. So are the executives, A&Rs, and many others working in the music business. Everyone who looks away while the evil runs rampant is guilty in my eyes. Most people have no issues with corruption and evil as long as they're making money. Pay attention to how Jay-Z is praised in the industry when everyone knows who he really is. He doesn't care about the urban community, he cares about acquiring mass wealth so he can pretend to be God. In my recent video on the halftime show, I saw so many people in the comments showing how easily they are manipulated. These people in the comment section were claiming that Kendrick Lamar used the Super Bowl to start a revolution for the black community. This was truly laughable, honestly, and it proves just how manipulated people are. For those that believe this, you really think the Super Bowl was going to allow Kendrick Lamar to start a revolution that benefits the very people they have been taking advantage of for centuries? Did you forget that Kendrick was not only chosen by the Freemason puppet Jay-Z, but he was chosen by the NFL? You do know that this performance was created with the Super Bowl's full involvement. This wasn't a call for a revolution, this was a ritual like it is every year. Just because you're told to like Kendrick Lamar, you think that it's impossible for him to be used for this ritual. But in fact, he was, and I proved it when I broke down all the symbolism. Kendrick's message at the Super Bowl was approved by the elite who run the Super Bowl, and they definitely don't want to empower anybody from the urban community. Nothing will change because Kendrick performed not like us at the Super Bowl. Tell me, in what way would this bring any change? How is this gonna better you by him performing this song at the Super Bowl? If you have a good response, I want to hear it. The only thing that changed was Kendrick made himself more popular, made more money, and took advantage of more people. Kendrick wasn't trying to make no revolutionary statement. He was playing out the performance the NFL team agreed he can do. You really think that they would invite someone that they don't control to perform and send an opposing message to what they want for the world? If you believe this, no worries. I will pray for you, and hopefully one day you will wake up. Listen to me closely. There are no heroes in Hollywood. Zero. The moment you understand that is the moment you will be set free. For those saying that I don't understand the halftime performance because you think I don't understand the urban struggle, you are so wrong. I was born and raised in the Bronx and left in my late 20s. I know the struggles of the urban community. I grew up in it. I dealt with all the negatives of growing up poor in an urban community. I'm no different than anyone who grew up in an urban community struggling. The only difference is that God has given me what I recognize as a gift, the ability to see through the manipulation. I myself grew up heavily indoctrinated by hip-hop. It was all I consumed. It took me down the same path that it took my friends on, a path of destruction that led me far away from God. We didn't notice we were trying to imitate the rappers, but we were. We did what they said because they made it seem like we had to. I was lucky enough and blessed to notice that what I thought was entertainment to empower us was really just propaganda to enslave us. I also realized that God was the only solution for the problems we were facing. Stop letting the puppet masters divide us. We are all God's people, and together we are stronger. They got us fighting each other when we should be standing up together. Jay-Z, Diddy, and all the other devils in the industry are all working for their kingdom of darkness. All of them were used to guide the urban community away from God. They sold out for a few dollars. The good thing is, God forgives and will gladly accept you with your flaws and all, as long as you accept them as your Lord and Savior. This is not about religion though. This is about our soul. Well, I'm gonna end this one here. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.